Welcome to Practical Python Programming. In this video, we're going to take a little bit further look at Jupyter Notebook environment. In order to get started, you will need Jupyter Notebook running on your Raspberry Pi, or you can have it installed on the system that you're currently running. First thing you need to do is log in to the IP address where Jupyter Notebook's running. If it's on your local system, you should be able to access it via localhost. Once it loads, the first thing you'll notice is we have our folder with all of our files. Depending on where you start Jupyter Notebook, that is the root location for what you'll have access to. When we booted it on the Raspberry Pi, we put it inside of the Pi user folder. So that is where all of our notebooks will be saved once we start creating them. Quick overview of this homepage. Anytime if you click on the Jupyter Notebook logo up here, it'll take you to the home page for Jupyter Notebook. The quit will shut down your Raspberry Pi server, so be careful clicking on that. You'll have to log into your Raspberry Pi again, or if you set it up to boot on restart, it'll come back on that way. Logout just simply requires you to enter your password again. Across here we have our files list, our running list, we can see what's currently running, and then clusters, which is currently not applicable. Over here you can upload files. This is an easy way for you to copy files from your current system to your Raspberry Pi, as well as we have our new in order to create a notebook, and we can also create a terminal here. I'll show you that real quick because this is a really cool feature in my opinion of Jupyter Notebook. What we can do is we can basically create a terminal for our system Jupyter Notebook's running on. So we can ls cd, and it gives us a little bit of access, which is pretty cool. You can even run Raspberry config inside of here. So that's a cool feature that when we try to set up some more complex capabilities, we'll be able to do that all inside of the Jupyter Notebook web application. We'll go ahead and close that for now, and we'll go ahead and create a new Python 3 notebook. As this boots up, what you'll notice is back here, we can go to running, and we'll now see that we have our terminal running, and if we refresh this, we should see our notebook is also here. So this is a way for you to see what's currently running on your Jupyter Notebook server. When we come into here, first thing you'll notice is we have a checkpoint. With Jupyter Notebook, it will save your files as you go. So you don't have to be too concerned about saving every so often because it will automatically do that. Looking at some other features, we can see we're currently running a Python 3 kernel. With Jupyter Notebook, the kernel is the environment that actually checks the state of what you're running. We are currently running Python 3, but you can also run, as you see here, different kernels. We only have Python 3 installed on our Raspberry Pi, accessible through our kernel, but you can install other data languages here if you see fit. For everything that we're going to do, we'll be operating inside Python 3. In terms of actually operating inside of Jupyter Notebook, you code right in here. You can see mine turned green. We have a pencil up here indicating we are in edit mode. With edit mode, that's how you actually code. So we'll just go ahead and do 2 + 2, and then we'll hit Shift Enter to execute the code within that box or that cell. We'll see here we get output. With Jupyter Notebook, we'll get output for almost everything we run. In this case, it is not printed. That is different than if we say print 2 + 2. So you can see this is output that we've indicated, and this happens to be the result of the actions completed inside the box. As mentioned, this is edit mode. We can also hit escape, and that changes our box to blue and gives us some other shortcuts and capabilities to work within our environment. To take a look at some of those, we can hit the help, keyboard shortcuts, and you can see a list of both command and edit mode shortcuts. Some of the big ones that I use when I'm in command mode is you can press A, which gives you a cell above, and B, which gives you a cell below. Inside edit mode, we'll take a look at a couple of things. We can create a loop, and you'll see that as I execute this has a 1 up here, this has a 2. Now as I execute this loop here, you'll see that we have a star in it. That shows you what cell is currently being executed. In order to stop this, because this is an infinite loop, we can click the stop button here, or we can also click on kernel interrupt. One of the other cool things about Jupyter Notebook is it's like a combined scripting environment as well as a development environment. So what we can do is let's go ahead and create a data object here. Say list equals curly brackets 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and hit enter. So now we have a variable called list holding those values. What we can do is if you hit list period and hit tab, takes a minute, we can see options we can run on this. So let's go ahead and we'll do a pop. Okay, it looks like it kicked out the 2 value from our list. So that's the output that we didn't request, but we can see the return or the results of that cell. The other thing you can do is you hit tab, or sorry, you hit shift tab. It'll give us details about it. So not only can we use autocomplete and figure out what capabilities there are within that object, we also have the ability to learn more about that as itself, what parameters it takes in, or maybe what it returns, or just some simple instructions. So that was a quick overview of Jupyter Notebook with some of the things that you can do and why it's so convenient. If you're still trying to learn a little bit more or find your way around, there is a user interface tour that's fairly helpful and covers a couple of the other features that you might need to utilize as you start working in Jupyter Notebook. Looking forward to working on our next project with you and learning more about the Jupyter Notebook environment. Thank you.